right, so now let's take a look at the market here. On April 12th, 2023. Let's look at Euro CAD. Let's go to the daily chart. Let's actually go to the weekly chart and see if we can pinpoint. This is where the drop started. Sales started. It came back, mitigated some. It pushed down. It has touched and spiked here. This looks like this is where the orders really started moving. There's might have been a little, looks like it came back and met the imbalance right here. Let's look at that on the daily chart real quick. Yeah, it came back, touched and pushed. Let's go back to the weekly. These are some weekly zones here. So I'm thinking maybe the path may come back to this area just to kind of mitigate those orders, and then maybe back down to mitigate some of these orders here. Looks like there's a push to get the best price right here. Banks push price way down and the price shot up. Looks like this is kind of the break of structure right here. So let's put the break of structure. Looks like that makes sense right there for that order block to be there for the buys. Well, that's what I'm thinking here for this week. Of course, there was some rejection here. If you go back and look, possible breaker block right here where the orders came out just to push price up and then back down and then went back to mitigate right here. See several rejections from this area here. But for now, the Euro CAD, if you trade this, I'm looking for possibly still a move up. Maybe try to grab some of the liquidity if there's any left up here. Possibly where they push price up just to kind of get a quick, better price. They push price up to sell it off. They may want to come back and close out their buy orders. So that was Euro CAD. Now let's look at USD CAD. All right, so let's remove these drawings and start fresh. This is a weekly chart. The first thing that catches my eye is this big move up here and this big move down here. So it looks like price is mitigating that area, and also has came close to remitigating. So I'm looking for a possible area here which price still may shoot up and touch and possibly even go as high as this to possibly grab any liquidity that still may be in the market, or to close out some buy orders that push this price all the way up. Same thing for this area, some possible liquidity here. And then they want to mitigate any kind of sale orders right here to close out those orders. So what I'm thinking here is probably a push down. Again, maybe a little hesitation, possibly a push here to go back and then mitigate this area right here. But we'll see here in the future what happens here. This one's a little, I mean, we mitigated this order block already. We caught it here. So that block is done. break of structure was right here. So possibly just this area in general looks like it got hit twice, so mitigated. It shot up a little hesitation, but then pushed. You could probably also choose this as an area of concern too if you wanted to. But it looks like it actually touched and shot up. So it's probably safe to say this is the order block for this area. It broke structure here, came down, didn't mitigate then, came down and went into the area, went back up and mitigated this order block. So they went back and looks like the banks pushed up and got all their buy orders back. If you look at this big candle, oops, let's take that out. If you look at this big candle here, it looks like the banks really wanted to push price up to get that better price, and then it immediately shot back down. So that tells you the banks moved the market just to get that best price. And these buy orders still was probably inactive. It was going negative as they went down. Negative, 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 negative. But they made sure to push price up just to mitigate. And you can see the craziness right here. Pushed it up, then just pushed it back down. But it looks like this order block's been mitigated a couple times. We see, for those that like to use trend lines, you see the channel here, the price kind of staying in between and then shooting up right here. So this is what I'm thinking here. Down, up, down, up. All right, so let's look at GPD CAD. I don't normally trade this one very often, but let's see. If you see anything that grabs our attention, this big push up here, that grabs my attention. Some areas right here, and then possibly this area right here. This is another main push before it broke this structure here. So it broke this structure. This area looks mitigated already. Could possibly come up here again, but it looks like it's came close quite a few different times. Touch here, touch here. Possibly the next area of concern would probably be right here. Let's run this over a little bit. Let's see, make sure that's on there. And these are all weekly charts. Keep that in mind. This is a weekly chart. We haven't went down to the daily. Let's look at the daily. With a daily, you can actually get a little bit tighter order block where you can see where price started to move away, about right here. And the same thing for over here. Very quick move somewhere toward this area here. So if price keeps moving the way it's moving right now, this is what I'm thinking. Again, this is not financial advice. So price will probably hesitate a little bit in this area and then start coming back down. And we'll probably hit that area a little bit, probably like a fake out to get you to think it's going back up, and then drop down again and possibly to here, and then start pushing price back up. And I say go back up just because of this long wick right here. It looks like prices went as low as sellers wanted it to go, and where buyers felt a lot of comfort to buy and push price up. This also could be a block, possibly, just because it did break this structure here, this area kind of right here. It did break this area. And if you go down to a smaller chart, it should be a little more evident that there was a big move here and a big structure. Let's see, let's do that. Kind of see the area, touch, and then just a giant shoot up. So let's reset the chart. All right, so now let's take a look at what we got next. The Aussie dollar CAD. This is another one I don't trade much on, but what you want to do is immediately look for places that grabs your attention. Again, here it is here. Let's show you this color. So here's the big push up as it goes up. Kind of a break of structure right here. So we kind of see that being broken. So that kind of validates this area. And then another area possibly right here, just kind of in this range. What I'm thinking here for this one, it's probably going to go up some, probably hesitate down, probably go down and try to catch some liquidity, and then start going back up and then mitigate some of this right here. And once again, this is just my opinion. Always get your confirmations. I do more breaker block and buy orders, supply order blocks. I just look for these kind of a push up and then a big move down. And for buys, kind of a push down and move up. You might be able to even kind of go expand your zone maybe down to here, this area here. Really not much going on, a lot of confusion. There was a push up here, but it really didn't break no structure. It came back down and pushed, and then it really rocketed up here. I mean, when I say rocketed, we're looking at 265 pip move in 1, 2, 3 days. So big move here, and then the push up. Let's look at this push up. This was over 100 pips of movement just in one bar. And then this one move here was 255 pips. So big move down. And then this area was hit again. You kind of see some resistance in this area. I don't really trade too much on support and resistance, but your support and resistance kind of goes hand in hand. But I look for blocks, like these big pushes. And this is what I believe for the Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. New Zealand dollar CAD. What I'm seeing just kind of right offhand. Again, this is a daily chart now. So it's big move here. It looks like it's mitigating. I don't really see an area that grabs my attention right here. But I will say it has reached a resistance area, just where buyers has not let price go above. It looks like a move down here. See, this order block here kind of went a little above. Always remember that zones are not 100% accurate. Price will move around past the zones and through the zones and then come back the other way. So, trading is a game of probabilities. So you want to make sure that the probabilities are in your favor on what makes the most sense. Here, in my opinion, there's a move up there too, but not really a break of any kind of structure. This one breaks this entire area. This is the area that was kind of the area of resistance, but then it shot up. It hesitated in that area, then shot up. In my opinion, maybe something like this. Maybe back up to this area. Maybe to try to mitigate just some stuff in here. If there's any orders left. In here, you're looking at possibly 350 pip move at least. It says 370, possibly 350 of profit with maybe a stop loss of about 100. So about a 1 to 3. So here is JPD CAD. Supply area here. It struck it here. As we can see, there's a pinpoint. It came all the way back to the block exactly. No denying. It hit the block exactly. It went down. Let's see how many pips it went down. Almost 640 pips just in this little area here. So this is a lot of pips, a lot of movement, and this is a small area. You can see a big sell-off right here for this supply. This was the only closest thing I kind of seen to maybe an order block. It really didn't break the structure very well. I mean, it went right up to it and then went right up. If you look to the left, this area has been mitigated. I mean, you can see this is a stop loss hunt. Here, they had their orders here, and they knew other people had orders, probably long-term orders, a stop loss. Maybe looking for a long trend to go up. Let's see. Let's look at the monthly chart. Oh yeah, yeah. Long term sellers were probably thinking it was going to go up here, but it whipped down just to kind of throw people out of the market. Had that big stop punt right here. Up, hesitation, and up some more. First, that big whip down to take out any buy orders where they were looking for long term, probably looking for at least to come to this area here for long term profits. It'd probably take a few more years to get there. Swing trading, long term trading. So that's the British pound and the Japanese yen. So in my opinion, for this one, we see a doji starting to form here. This could be a balance. Possibly a push down to go back up, to keep going up. And the only reason I say go up, just because if you look at the week, it's still kind of working on an uptrend. If you like to use trend lines, I mean, it's still kind of a up area. If you look at the monthly, still kind of in the middle. See, it broke this, so if you use this as a breaker block, you kind of look left. I mean, it has already mitigated, broken, and now we're back. We're back above that, and it came back down to mitigate here, and it just looks to me like it might come down, but I believe it's going to shoot up to this area here, or possibly even this area way over here, because this has not been mitigated yet. I mean, price has not come back into this area. So there's still a lot of movement to be made. But again, remember, guys and gals, price can move any which way it wants to. We're trying to make the best educated guess to make a trade. So let's look at the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. Let me go back to daily. All right, so this is what I'm seeing so far. This has not been mitigated yet. I don't see much of a starting point for the move down. I mean, this is a big move. I don't see any other big moves. This one was kind of another big push and mitigated that. Possibly this one, but this is a really big move. This push, this block here didn't. It actually broke through this block, hit it, went up. You possibly on this hit here, if you would have put a limit order or buy order, you might have got in for 400 pips before the move down. But as you can see, looks like we're going lower. I mean, it broke this block, this buy block, and I call this almost a breaker block at this point because the price broke through it, retouched it, and then went back down, and then this block became the order block, and it moved down. Possibly something right here. Maybe price will come down, then maybe remitigate or possibly break through. Let's look to see if I can find anything on the weekly. All right, so if you look at the weekly, let's look at the weekly chart here. I mean, we're kind of in that same area. So we could probably get rid of this one and just say this is it. And this is this area right here. Looks a little different here, but when you go to the weekly, I mean, the weekly chart, it is, 1,000, 1,200 pips until profit's taken. So if it breaks this area, So let's keep this over here. If it breaks this area, my next target is going to be this area here. So there's possibilities. Let's look. It's going to keep going down. Maybe come back up to mitigate. Maybe. Or it'll keep going down. Break this block. Maybe touch it again. And then down here. And we're looking at how much profit. 1,000 pips just in a small move. Once it breaks this block here, I don't really see anything. Maybe this area right here, but looks like price has come back to that a few times. So not really sure what may happen there. There was some resistance here, as you could see before the order block shot up. And it broke, the trend. Like you look at it as a trend line, it kind of broke this area and then broke this support area. So valid block, but it's been touched. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually pushed through hard. So there's probably some stop hunts here, and then just kind of gradually went up until the big shoot here. So this is US dollar and Japanese yen. The Aussie dollar and Japanese yen. Possible area here. And, you use trend lines. You got a little bit here, kind of a break of a trend line, then retest. I'm thinking maybe price will come back up here. But right now, it looks like it's on a downtrend. Down. Let's see. Maybe we're hitting this, probably this. And then at some point, probably go get some stops, and then you'll want to see something like break of structure like this right here. If you see this, it's probably safe to say it's going to go back up to this area and mitigate some of these orders. That's what I'm seeing with this one. Possibly another area of concern, maybe this block right here. Maybe. Not really sure. It didn't really break any structure. It kind of went with structure. But if it does push down, it's going to go into one of these areas, or possibly even as far down as this area right here. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the dollar, Australian dollar yen. So there's some areas right here. It possibly could go back up to this area where the resistance was. But it's near the top now. I mean, look at this resistance. I mean, this is an order block all in itself. Look at this big order block. I mean, it was filled. And this is the monthly chart, and then this area has been filled. It got hit once, so good chance it could possibly go back. But this is, if it goes back up to here, it will definitely, in my opinion, if it goes back up to here, it's definitely going to go back down here and mitigate that. And we're looking at 4,500 pips. I mean, this will be a long-term sell. Of course, there's no more information after that, so it could go up possibly, but the last from 2007 to 2009, this was the big move. And it's been in this range ever since between these two. And it did mitigate right here. It's mitigated twice here. It actually went above probably a stop hunt right here. So possibly that big move. All right, so let's see. The CAD yen. We're kind of, let's see at this area here. Looked like it was a push, kind of the fake out. Probably look at this area right here as the next target. It may go back up and mitigate this first. We're also looking at this area down here And just keep in mind, this is a monthly chart, so this is going to take a long time to get there. But then we also have all this right here. I mean, a lot of resistance here. And then again, there's not much there after that. Goes back to 2005. So more than likely, in my opinion, it's going to go back up a little bit and then come back down to here. Possibly play the game and then mitigate this as well. So let's look at New Zealand dollar and yen. Again, this is a pair I don't trade very often. In my opinion, sometimes price charts don't have the best look. And this is a monthly again. Just remember that monthly. We can drop down to a weekly and get a more precise order block. It actually looks like this order block might be right here. And as you can see, it's already kind of came back to that area and touched. Let's see. The other order block I could possibly see is going to be right here, this area. Possibly right here, and then possibly another order block here. And I say that just because of the breaker structures. It broke this area here. This block did, and this block looks like it broke that structure and actually came back to touch that structure with a pin bar. Let's see, let y'all see that pin bar, or you want to call it a hammer. Little hammer right there. Kind of a good indication that's going to keep going up. All right, so let's take a look at the franc and then the yen. Let's see, let's reset the chart. Looks like we got a bullish market. Nothing really is standing out. We've gone higher than we've ever gone on the chart so far. So this is a little bit of an uncharted territory. I would say probably trade this one at your own risk. There's no data to the left to see any more price. Something to take away. If you wanted to try to trade it, you can draw little areas or the big sharp moves down, drop it down a little bit, kind of get your areas. See, this is probably a block, and this may be a block here. Let's look. Okay, so yeah, this is probably an order block. Just how sharp it was, and see it's already mitigated that. So it may come back down to this area, and then you have another block here. If it sells off, because it broke structure here, just so we can see it again, it broke structure right here. And then we'll come back and retest it and then moved on. The only other thing I can advise is, for education purposes only, just the amount of wicks that are right here. A lot of confusion. People don't know what to do. Price up, price down, price up, price down. The buy and sell orders are pretty much imbalanced here. Nobody knows where to go with it, buy it or sell it. Just because if you look left, again, there's just no information. It's just things to keep in mind as that price moves. This might be a block, and then this might be an area of concern after that. But looking here, and that's about all I can see on this pair right here. Thanks for watching.